Alrighty, so we are here. We are going to do some pop rock, and I'm just getting my screens together here. And let me see. I'm going to walk through the first little part just as a recap. Share my screen. Looks like they've changed a little bit. The layouts and everything. Oh, we'll see if this works. All right, so before I get going, give me the thumbs up if you guys can hear this. All right, we are working then. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. We're at the mixing stage right now, so we're going to wrap it up and kind of get it all finished up. I have part one down here of the recording the parts, and then we have part two of the editing. And so just to recap, it's pop rock. So that means we're going to have some pads and synths in there, which you don't normally do with rock. So pop rock is going to have a little bit more of the synths and the modern kind of pop elements. We're also going to make sure that the drums are a little bit poppy, or I guess you could say just more modern or electronic. It's actually a little bit more electronic sounds. We're going to have bass in there, and we've got some electric guitars. The beats per minute is 120 to 150. I believe this one's at 125. The moods is all the above: energetic, fun, happy, light, uplifting, all that kind of thing. Keeping it. The scene that this would be used a lot is you could actually be sports pop rock, so it could be like energetic, high energy kind of things. I've seen these kind of placements get used a lot in like the characters are all going to have fun or something. They're going to go do something, whether it's golf, mini golf, or go-karting, or whatever it is that those characters are into. They're about to run out and do something fun. And so let's dive in. So I haven't heard this since I recorded it the other day. So let's just have a listen all the way through. And I might tweak little things as we go because I can't help it. But here we go. There's a few things I'm hearing straight away. The B section that was actually supposed to be usually a little bit quieter. Usually when I say B sections, it actually sounds louder and bigger, and it kind of just came out that way. So I'm thinking of actually, and it's got these big held out long guitars. I know that gray wall there, it's kind of hard to see, but let me pull it down here. It's pretty. There it is there. So I'm just holding out these ringing notes, and that's just And then over here, I'm just doing a palm muted. So normally that would kind of be more like a verse would do these kind of things, and then the big ring outs would be like a chorus in a song. So it's going to come out this way. I am going to try and change it a little bit, but I think it just might end up being this way. That's just what it is. It came out that way, and there's no point changing it too much because I'd have to re-record things and stuff. So I'm actually going to try and take a little bit of distortion off those beginning ones. So all I did there was just double these tracks. Just going to delete them and just bring them down again. And I'm going to change the sound. Just bring them down. I'm going to change the distortion here to it's on heavy, it's on crunch. I'm going to go to clean and see if that kind of makes it just a little less, not as big as it kind of came out. Yeah, it's not as big, it's not as rocky, and that's good. That's what I want. It was a little bit too big for me. Cool. So I'm happy with those. So let's have a look at some of these drums. When I was playing the beginning part, I was cutting out a few little things because I could hear a little stop there. Everything else stops. That would be a perfect edit point for the drums to do something. So I've got an extra little beat here. Da 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 da. I'll just mute this top one. I just added a snare there. I'll add another snare here as well. Maybe one more C. There we go. So I like that better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to program one of these drums, and I'm just going to copy and paste the whole thing onto this other drum kit, which is a bit more of the modern one. So this drum kit here is EZdrummer. It's very easy. That's why I use it a lot. It's very simple. It's simple. These drums they're a little bit different to me. They're a little bit more punchy than I normally use. I usually use a different kit, the vintage kit, Vintage Rock. And these are all little packets you can buy when they go on sale at, I don't know, $40, $39, somewhere around there when they go on sale. So I just end up collecting them after a while. But I've changed this kit to this rockier one. So it's different. So it'll be different sound than what I'm always used to. But that's a good thing because sometimes we get caught. I know I get caught in using the same sounds all the time. And I'm going to reverse that cymbal, cut that reverse cymbal, right, and move it over here. See what that sounds like. Yeah, it's nice, it's cleaner, exactly what I want. Now there's another one over here. What am I going to do here? I might do something different. I might do a, what did I do? I'm actually going to do something different here because they have the cut, and so they might want to use a different, maybe a fill-in or something. Now, one thing I do with the snares, as a drummer, the first hit mightn't be as loud as this last one. You want to build them up. So I'm actually going to pull down the velocity a little bit. It just sounds a little bit more realistic. So it's not as loud until that last one. wonder if it just do the hit, those two hits might be better. Yeah, I like that better. All right, now there's always a fill at the end. What are we doing here at the end? I'm not sure what we had here. Let me just see. Now these are some standard drum fills that I do a lot. I'll do these ones on the last two beats. So there's like last two here, and then I actually add another one over here because I'm kind of like getting excited as I'm hitting the snare as I'm ending the song. Might bring one over here, so we'll just have a listen. Yeah, it's getting a lot more busy as it's kind of finishing the song. Let's just have a listen to that film. I think this first film might be a bit weird. Let me have a listen. I think it might need some more like dun 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 dun. And I'll build those up as well. Whoops. Now, for anyone who's a drummer, okay, so tell me, what do you think is wrong here? This is tom 1, tom 2, and snare. Does anybody know how the drummer was able to play 3 things with 2 arms? Tom 1, tom 2, or floor tom and snare. So I could move it out, or maybe people mightn't even know. It's yeah, brings his foot in. Absolutely. Tom is like, what, he's an octopus? This drummer? Absolutely. So sometimes you can get away with sometimes with that, but a drummer won't let that fly. If a drummer listens to this song, he'll be like, what? And so I have a choice, and sometimes I don't care. I'm like, nah, that sounds fine. Or sometimes, in this case, since I pointed it out, I might be like, you know what, let me get rid of one of those. But let's have a listen. Let's solve it. Yeah, it's a little bit too busy. I'll get rid of. Didn't that sound a little bit better? That sounded better than having that stuff there. It actually does sound a little weird when it's soloed, but now of course you could put them like this because they're not hitting at the same time. So one of the hands would have to go from the snare, tom, 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 like that. But obviously that's too much for this song. Now I'm just going to pull these, try and get a bit more volume on these snares as I'm building up. And the toms as well. That's good. Go back to the beginning. I think we have a tom fill here coming into the song, which is always great. They love cutting these are great. They use these a lot. When I'm hearing my placements and stuff, they use these little fill-ins a lot. It's a great little thing to add to your songs. I want that to be a snare. No, I don't. because these got toms and tom fills. Let me mute one. Maybe that's it right there. Cool, we've got the drums there. I'm just going to copy that, drag this up into this whole nother drum kit, and I'll mute that in a second. We'll hear what that sounds like. And that's not really triggering. Sometimes the kits don't translate. Like when this hits a snare, this is hitting something different. So I want to make sure that it's translating right. And so these are my snares here. Oh, the snares did work, but what are these sounds? That's supposed to be like a tom, but it's like a hat. So let's see if we find a tom. That's like some... And now it's ringing some sort of ride or something, which is this one here. I don't need that ride in there. I'm just highlighting all those. I'll bring them down to a hat or something. So it's also happening in the other drum as well, which I don't think I like that ride. Yeah, that's great. I like that a bit better. So because it's rock, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to duplicate this bass, and you could do this many different ways. It's going to be kind of like a parallel distortion bass or something. I could either do it one way of putting that bass through a second bass channel, and so then on another bass channel here, a bus I should say, I would put a distortion on it. But what I'm actually going to do in this one is I'm just going to copy and paste this channel here, just a little bit different. So I'm just going to just copy this one, and this is going to be bass distort. And I'm just going to throw some, we'll keep that on there, some sort of distortion. Let me do the sound toys. I've been thinking of, I haven't used it the last few times, and I used to use it a lot. Decapitator. I used to use this a lot, but I haven't used it in a long time. So it's a really cool distortion. Let's have a listen. punish it. All right, cool. So what we've done here on these high parts, maybe I'll just color that because it's pretty different. They're kind of like just chimes that ring out, but I put a Valhalla verb on it, and then I've had a big kind of it's a big reverb, so it's sanctuary, so it's like a big room, the big kind of sound. And then the shimmer, I've just put a little bit of shimmer on it. There's not much going here. It's pretty much close to the default. So let's go ahead and have a listen to that again. Now this there's like a lead melody here, like a synth lead melody. I think I'm going to put some delays or something on that. I don't know if there's delays I can put it inside the box. Saves putting a whole plugin on it if they have it. I'm sure they have a delay here somewhere. You've got drive, density, octaves. Here's delay. So let's see what that sounds like. That's cool. This is a cool, I like these guys, UJam. I haven't played with them enough, UJam. I like these guys. That's cool, a circle's delay. That was really cool. Let's go back here. That's cool too. Left, right, right. That's cool. They got some cool delays here. I like the circles. Now it's getting a bit washed out, so I need to change the mix. If they have do they have a mix button here? Feedback maybe. I don't have a mix effect. Oh, I guess you could. That's the finisher. I guess that's the mix maybe. There's the mix there. Well, I think we're ready to kind of just start EQing some stuff and making sure things are in the right ballpark. The first thing I want to do is clean things up, and usually you'll see I always do that with EQs. I'm just making sure I take out the lows out of anything that doesn't need it. Obviously, without even listening, I know that the drums, the squash drums, which I don't think anything's going to that yet, the bass, I'm not really going to play not really going to take any of the lows out of these guys. Electric guitars, definitely. Acoustic guitars, we don't even have acoustic guitars. Let me delete that channel. Pianos, I think some stuff is going through pianos. Lead, we don't have any backing vocals, obviously. We've got the mix there. Let me put the drums through the squash. So I'm just going to send a little bit to the squash drums. So there we go. We're just sending -6, so nearly 100%, but level 6. So if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm watching the meter mostly to see, I turn the release down a little bit so that when the compressor hits in, it goes back down, it releases and goes back down to 0 musically, because you can actually see it kind of goes with the beat. And that's one of the easiest ways to kind of like, especially on a compressor like this that I'm using just to squash. I'm going to be pulling this right down. You're going to be hardly even be able to hear it, but this is what I do kind of to kind of like squash the drums. And when I solo this, you'll hear how raw and kind of nasty it sounds, but it really brings up the punch of it. Drums do need to come down just a little bit because I got no headroom for this here. It's working too hard already on this compressor with the drums. You guys can hear it through the Zoom, but there's quite a bit of pumping going on, and so I'm going to pull down some of these levels because some of these compressors are working too hard, and it's like a pumping sound I can kind of hear, and I gotta eliminate that. There it is. So I'm going to, some of these channels are going to the same, some of these tracks are going to the same channels. This is going to be my lead. So I'm actually going to pop that into the lead. This is that synth thing. So I'm going to make sure I send that to the lead, not the piano. Now this is piano here. I think this is piano too. Now that will be lead as well. So let's do this as lead as well. These are my two leads. Color code them so I can at least see. Some people would say, well, why don't you just label things? Yeah, too much work. So the colors work for me. So that's pads. So that's also going to go to like a string sound. So they've got piano here, and this is going to be a string sound. I call those pads, and that I call strings. So that's going to go to the strings. Here's a classic example. Look at all this energy that comes up from like 20 dB, or sorry, 20 hertz, around 10 as well. There's like all this energy. I don't need any of that. That will build up on with other instruments, and so that's why I like this EQ, because you can actually see it too. You don't even kind of like double checking with your eyes and ears. I don't need any of that stuff down there at all. I might even make this a little thinner, and just it'll create more clarity for the bass and any other instruments I want down the bass and kick. I'm just boosting a little bit in the frequency around 2 dB. Some clarity around, it looks around 3.5 or something, 3,000. Can hear that as I pull. This is the electric guitars. I'm actually going to be keeping it all in there, keeping a lot of the low energy around. I think it's around 200. I'm going to be keeping that in, and then I'm going to cut it out, and things just get clear. You can hear it. All right, now I'm just going to go heading over to the mix now. a new plugin that I've had. Well, it's not that. You guys have probably seen it for a while, but these are great. These two little combo that on the mix bus, I'm really liking. I pushed this up a little bit level to make sure my UV meter is hitting about -3. Just starts to put a little bit of punch. If I feel like it needs more glue or more drive, maybe a little bit more glue, I think in this one. We'll see. I can turn this up a little bit. Bass or treble if I feel like it needs overall a bit more treble or bass. It's very musical, this one. And then this is something I've been using a little bit while that you can do a lot in this. And what I've just been finding is just using this preset here, an expensive mix. And it just sounds great. Sounds great. I'm not going to mess with it. It's a nice little just easy button that makes it just sound better. And it kind of cuts out a little bit of what have we got here, from a slight curve from about 50 down. Keep in mind you can't hear really 60 down, but you can see it. The speaker kind of moves from 60 below. You can feel it obviously, but that's just kind of making the headroom or just getting more clarity. Let's push play from the top. Oh, don't like that. I think that's the other drum kit. Yeah, I don't like that. I just mute it, see what happens. Maybe I'll unmute him and turn him right down. I'm actually going to do something. I'm kind of going to mess with things a bit now. I probably shouldn't, but I'm actually going to do this one more time, and I'm going to use this drum kit called, I think it's called Dream Pop. Dream Pop. It might create too much ambience, or let's try this one. I like that, because what I was hearing, everything sounded a little thin on the drums. I wanted to sound a little bit more beefy, so this has a little bit more low in it. So let's just solo these guys. Yeah, it's great. That's great. So now with this last hit, so I didn't want that tail of that shimmer to go out that long, and obviously just turning down this wave is not going to cut. I actually have to go in and automate the whole volume on that track, so to get rid of that shimmer, because it's all coming through on that track. electrics are a little bit loud too. I'm just going to turn them down just a tiny bit more. Nice to go down a bit. That's it. I think that's the one. All right. So let's have a listen to the mastering section. Master channel. I've been using the same setup for a little while. Waves actually at the moment has a $29 deal. You guys, I know that they have a $29 deal every week it seems like, but it's $29 for everything right now. And I have been looking at a few of their different mastering stuff. I saw something called the TG mastering channel. It looked really pretty cool. So I might end up getting that and playing with that, but I haven't got it yet. But I thought about it, just something different to kind of put in there. But I still use the same formula, which is a compressor, a little bit of EQ, another compressor, and then my limiter, and they're all doing little bits. So here we are. Going from the top again, here we got the Fairchild. I've been using this for a while. It's called the Pyog by Waves. I don't do much. This is a very basic start. I don't do much at all. This is all linked together. I don't want to do much. I don't even think I get to -1 of dB gain reduction. And this setting, I've kind of kept it on all the time. It sounds great. I like this EQ. We've talked about that a little bit. That's the same kind of settings. Copy and paste that if you get this plugin, you don't know where to start. Copy and paste this and kind of. I've been using this on tons of mixes and it works great. It's only doing a small thing. We have the AMEC, which does my mids and sides. This is how you ruin a mix if you're not careful. So copy my settings again. Nothing is really engaged. I could actually turn off. There's no dB. So nothing's on these guys. 1, 2, nothing. A little bit on this one. Nothing, and a little bit on that one. As I said, it's only a tiny bit. I put a little bit of harmonic distortion. This is their patent one. Or pattern one, and then I put the mono maker. I usually play with this to what setting, but usually around whatever that is, 140, 146 works pretty well. Stereo width, this is how you can really kind of hurt your mix and it can sound really unbalanced. I only have this at a little bit over at 111. So, and then output, I've only put it up by 1.5 dB, 1.4 dB. Shadow Hills, this is where I love this plugin. I mean, yeah, I love this plugin. I think I'd like to get the hardware one day. This is a great one. I love this. Now, one little thing, I don't know if I've talked about this too much, but one of the things you can also do is visually, you can kind of find out what is triggering your limiter, because you obviously want to get the highest level. You want to get as loud as you can, but clear. You don't want it to be squashed. And so if your mixes, maybe isn't quite balanced, like maybe the drums are a little bit too loud, this is how you kind of spot it if you can't quite hear it in headphones, or if your ears are getting a bit fatigued and you can't quite hear it. You can actually mute the channel. Like I got drums down here. I'm going to mute these channels and see what is triggering this the most. So we'll bring this threshold down a little bit and you'll see that it'll be pumping a little bit, or it'll be working pretty hard. But then when I mute one of these instruments, you'll see that it almost stops or pulls back half. That means that even in my mix, visually, I can see that the drums are actually a little loud. They're technically a little loud and they're pushing through. Could be the low end, could be the hits that are coming through, but overall something is in the drum channel is maybe triggering this. And then if you turn the drums down a little bit, then everything can come up and it can actually sound a little bit louder. So it's a cool kind of little thing just to kind of see visually. So let's play. Tells me the bass was actually quite a little bit loud, so I'm going to pull it down by a dB. What else? Maybe 2. There we go. I can hear it's the snare that's quite loud in this drum track. So I could go all the way back to over here and kind of dial into that snare and make sure the snare's down, which sometimes I do that. It might be this kit. I'll actually physically go in and turn these snares down a little bit. Snare top, snare bottom. Oops. So turn it down by about dB or something, 2 dB. Actually, that sounded good. That was good already. Like on that piano to have a little bit of that delay that we had earlier. Cool. So let's, I think we might be ready. Let me just listen to the last half. I think I might be ready to actually kind of bounce it down for a first mix. Okay, so I was wondering why my levels are down a little bit. If you have a look at the master here, it's at minus, it's minus 3 dB. I've just got the fader down, so I need to turn the fader back up. And one of the things I was doing is just watching this meter. Always watch that meter. I have another meter on my hardware that I can look at on my Lynx Hilo, which is my my converter, but it's also called a audio interface. So. But I was watching it, so now my levels will be a little bit louder, 3 dB louder, and it should be punching through. Let's see. what I'm doing here is I just copied this. Let's do full reset. Full reset, there we go. So I just copied this EQ down because this EQ here, I want to take out some, maybe it's 500 or maybe it's at 1K. I want to take it down a little bit, but this EQ is already going. And so sometimes instead of trying to dive this in and then affecting all this, whatever's going on here, sometimes it's easier just to put another EQ on even after the comp, that's fine. And then do what I want to do, which is find this frequency and pull it down that I can kind of hear in my speakers, my ears. Right, so let's go back to the beginning, make sure I'm starting on the right spot. I always do this in my main. I turn it down just so if I ever come back to the mix and something happens with this, with my markers, then it's already, I can already see where I need to bounce down. And tail out. About there, let's see. That works right there. So put my marker. All right, so I'm ready to bounce that down. All right, cool. Any last minute questions before I bounce down, or does anybody want me to show them any parts of the mix here? Such a fun track. Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, it's just up tempo, and they need so many of these. It's a great track, great fun track. Yeah. All right, let's bounce him down. Oh, now we have to think of a title. I like the idea of dream pop kind of thing. So maybe pop lighter or something, light dream or something, or dream. My publishing company is called Dreamlight, so no, we're not going to use Dreamlight. You can always change it. Let me have a listen as I play it one more time. I was going to call it Times to Remember. Close it down. Times to remember. Times to remember. That's good. There we go. Bouncing down. All right, what do you guys think? Who cranked out a track at the same time while watching this? Awesome. Any questions? Or I do see. Let me open the chat here. Runaway Dreams. Oh, that's a good title. That's yours now. That's yours now, Vicky. That's a good title. Oh, good. Would grab that one. But that's yours. That's a good one. Runaway Dreams. I think Times to Remember. I actually think I have a song with that title. I might have to double check that. But awesome. So, did you guys any other questions, or you want me to look at anything else, or I'll let you guys go and enjoy your rest of your afternoon or evening. Looks like everyone's good to go. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out again, guys. It's always fun. And hopefully you guys can see too that it's the same process over and over and over and over again. It's just different colors. That's all. It's just, but you go through the same process, and it's fun. You just get better and better and better. Your ears get more fine tuned, and it's okay if it's not like the perfect track. Sometimes it is what it is. And like as I said earlier, that that B section was supposed to be quieter, but it wasn't quieter. It came out louder, and so that's okay. That's okay. So if you watch the first video, I was actually trying to do something, and then I went too far back. I didn't want it that big, and so then I went to a palm mute, which actually went way too different. And so, but anyway, enjoy the replay, everyone, and I will see you guys later. All right, later.